Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Ellis County Tuesday, July 7th, 2026 meeting. If we could all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, if Bobby, the clerk, could call roll, please.
Commissioner Nathan Liker.
Here.
Chair Neil Younger.
Present.
Commissioner Michael Burgess.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay. Order of business should stay the same. We'll have 2 executive sessions. Prior minutes, you have a chance to look at those?
Prior minutes look fine.
Okay. How about the consent agenda?
I'll move to approve consent agenda items A through G.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right. Issues from people that are not on the order of business? Anyone?
Yep.
Mike Worth, Ellis County resident. I'm talking about the tall grass solar that was approved at the when was that, June something meeting. Okay, questions for the commissioners. Why did you vote on the CUP for tall grass before the decommission, environmental impact, and stormwater containment plans were approved? Our local Division of Water Resource was not even informed of this project. Leonard Bristow of Stockton office oversees anything pertaining to floodplains in our area. Who from the state level approved this? Second, a solar farm is like adding a parking lot to rangeland. Water runoff needs to be treated just like a parking lot, and large containment pits need to be put in. Recently, the Yosemite Road was completely washed out from the existing floodplain, and we're going to be adding on more onto that. And wondered, did you guys actually, what kind of engineering plans do you guys have in place? Okay, by approving the CUP in the June 2nd meeting, did the commissioners did you guys just give up authority to anything that was unresolved? You know, like the decommission plan, the environmental impact, and if these agreements were done, can the public actually get access to them? My biggest concern with the decommissioning, I've got a situation with an oil in the oil industry, and the oil industry has bankrolled our county for decades. I get it, but just the importance of the decommissioning part of this is so important. The state oil and gas, they really don't have a decommission plan. And the example I have is some ground that I farm on. And the oil producer came in and removed pump jacks. He pulled the rod, he pulled the tubing, and he left an open hole. I went to the state here in town and asked him, you know, what's going on? You know, I got cattle in this pasture. And he said, well, this particular company just took out bankruptcy. I'm like, well, yeah, but they took everything of any value on these leases and left. And he says, I know. The state just took on responsibility for 40 wells from one oil producer they'll get plugged whenever the state gets money to do it. That's why this has happened to me, and I'm looking at this solar deal not having a 100% decommission plan done ahead of the approval. Just kind of reeks of what the oil industry's been doing their whole life. You know, I farm around more dead spots out in my fields. They'll never be addressed because there is no plan for it to be addressed. And I'm concerned. I mean, I feel like these guys are coming in for a 10-year fling, and they're going to get their money and they're going to run. And I'm just afraid what we're going to be left with. And it's not just going to be the state that's going to come in and clean it. The county's going to end up cleaning this up. And any kind of runoff that comes off of this project is you guys have followed that. You guys know where it goes. I mean, it goes straight to the city wells. And it's just like, we need to address some containment pits. The state needs to bring in some engineers. I cannot trust that tall grass engineers are going to do what needs to be done. I think there needs to be a lot more oversight on it. So, thank you for your time.
Okay.
Thank you.
I would like to respond to just your three main questions, and if anybody has anything to add, go ahead. But your question on why approve before the other agreements, a lot of that has to do with if that isn't approved, there's really no reason to make any other agreements. So if they don't have a permit to go forward, then why they don't need to decommission anything, because there'd be nothing to work towards. That at least that's my standing on it. But those agreements are still being worked out, and we are in talks with them to work on those. The floodplain and engineering plans, that goes to federal and state. That is above our jurisdiction, and they have to comply with federal, state runoff and flood, and engineering plans designed for that. So that is something that we can't superimpose anything on. That is a state and federal guidelines that they have to adhere by. And then as far as if we've given up any authority in regards to decommissioning, during our conditional use process, we've outlined a lot of different materials, and they have to have a bond in place for decommissioning, which is more or less insurance. So we've tried to take in all those accounts and do that, and we are still working on finalizing agreements that will be public when they're finished.
It was just very concerning when I talked to Leonard Bristow up there, who handles this.
Mm-hmm.
And he has never been informed. And it's just like, they're leapfrogging over our local guy. Well, he's state. I mean, that is state that he's working. I mean, he's not local. I mean, that is the state that he works for.
Right.
And it just concerns me that he didn't know anything about it.
Well, and that's,
So,
I mean, that is some of it's above what we can do here at our commission chambers. So
can I trust that you guys would ask at that higher level?
yeah,
Because I mean, if you don't ask and then you just assume,
Mhm.
you know, that's when you're always surprised.
right.
Okay, thank you.
Guess I'll tack on, you addressed, I think, it very well. There's no reason to do other conditions if the first one's not admitted. But again, this is not county land. The county's not doing this project. They're not coming to the county for us to build this project. It's not our project. So all of the engineering studies and those things that need to go to state approval, they got to go through the state. The landowner has the responsibility ultimately, as you said, the oil wells, if they're out there plugged on your land, that's on you as a private citizen in that company. That'll be very much similar here. The private citizen that owns that land is taking that risk
on how that land's gonna be turned over to them in, 30 years or sooner. That's not a county responsibility to tell a landowner how their land is gonna be used and turned back over to them. So we do have a bond, we put that in place to help to take care of the decommissioning. But ultimately, this is not a county project. It's a private company working with a private citizen to put a project on their land, not county land, not a county project.
But there are always regulations when it comes to this county and state and federal. You always have to answer to somebody. You can't just take your private ground and do whatever you want with it. Those days are gone. So I'm just saying, there needs to be some oversight on it. And for the county's reassurance, I think that you guys should be just as adamant about this as I am.
And I think we have been. That's why we went through months and months of going through the regulations, going through with attorneys and putting everything in. But I am a commissioner that believes private landowners do have a lot more right and that we should strip away regulations. We get told that all the time. We are overregulated and now here's an opportunity, but then people want, they want something restricted, now they want the regulations to start coming in. And I tend to stand that we should have less regulations.
I think it's also fair to mention that a lot of the items that Mr. Worth mentioned are actually listed specifically in the CUP as a condition of the company be able to construct, which includes several of the items: decommissioning agreement, the decommissioning plan, the permitting process, the road use agreement, the stormwater management plan, inadvertent discovery plan, which are historic sites, nature, skunks, different things like that, as well as emergency response plan. And the county can pull permits if those are not done, and they cannot construct or proceed unless those are also done. And there are benchmarks stated in the CUP very clearly that those have to be addressed. Otherwise, the CUP can be revoked if they don't bond or if they don't give us the plans and things like that.
And you do have access to that? Okay.
Yeah, it's all on the June 2nd commission meeting. It's like a 15-page portion of the document of the agenda.
Thank you.
Okay. Introduction to new promoted employees. Jennifer?
Good morning, Jennifer
Morning.
Taylor, Ellis County HR, and I'm excited to have multiple new employees or promoted employees here with me and their supervisors. And then also multiple departments are actively working towards filling the few open positions that we do have.
Hello, Mike
Morning.
Fraser, project manager with the Public Works Division. Weston Pfeiffer has been promoted to heavy equipment operator. He's moved to start, so I apologize. So he's working with the Bridge Division.
Welcome.
Vern Reuter, Ellis County Treasurer. I have new employee Ashley Parker. She started here 2 weeks ago. She is a motor vehicle clerk 1 and she's starting out great.
Yeah, welcome aboard.
Good morning, Melissa Miller, Ellis County Health Department Director, and we're excited to welcome Bobby Jennings to our team as Administrative Assistant for our front desk clerk.
Welcome.
Welcome. Okay, next we have the Ellis County Fairgrounds, the Deitch Hall naming. Mr. Dortzweiler?
Yeah, you fellas have these things too high for me. But anyway, it's a pleasure to be here. I'm Leo Dortzweiler from the town of Catherine. It's the first time at at a county meeting, so you've always been doing everything just right. Or you did what I said. But the reason I'm here, not for money, so hold on to your purse. You're okay. I am just about 92 years old, and I'm glad you have a loudspeaker. Can everybody hear me? Okay. It's not quite as big of a crowd as a Trump rally is, but I think they're just as important. And I'm going to do it in English so Randy Walker can understand it. But anyway, give you a little history on the fairgrounds, how I got involved with them. Back about 25 years ago when the towers came down, I was on the Ellis County Board for Volga German Society, and they had nominated me as president, and the Oktoberfest was always clear down in that hole. And when they nominated me for president, Lawrence Younger, the chief of police, called me and says, "Would you come up? I'd like to visit with you." And I went up and visited with Pal, and he says, "Leo, is there any way you could move that Oktoberfest out of that deep hole down there? Somebody is going to get killed one of these days," because there were so many people in such a small area. And I says, like a German, I'll see what I can do. So we had a meeting, the Volga German Society, and I told them that what had transpired, and I'd like to move it up on top where they have it now. And all hell broke loose because there was one fellow was giving somebody else the orders and wasn't even on the committee. And they said, no, it has to stay down here. And of course, you get a German excited, he tells them to go to hell. And I resigned and haven't been back on that since. So we took our grandson to Germany that year to study German. And by the time I came back, well, they had everything set to be down there. And I says, I'll move, have my own Oktoberfest. So I got a hold of, I think it was Tom Frost, and about moving it out to the Ellis County Fairgrounds, and they were much in favor. So that's where we got started with the fairgrounds. And the first year, we didn't make enough money to pay for the bands. And then after that, I started getting donations from the public, mostly Unser Leid, and got some money together the second year. And that's how I got to meet with Lauren Zimmerman. And Lauren, he just didn't go out there and think of things. He was driving I think he was driving Massey tractors the whole time. No comment from Kyle. But anyway, when he was driving around the field, he was thinking on what he could do for that fairgrounds. But we had gathered some money together from donations from Unser Leid, our people, and we had some money on hand. And they had that spot in between the Schenck building and the Gold building, which was not being utilized. And Lauren came up to me, and they were trying to get a bigger kitchen in the area. They would add on to that Schenck building for the kitchen if we would help along, since we had some extra money. And I says, well, how many feet are in between there? And I think it was 50, give or take. And I says, why don't you just put them both together, all in one? And he says, well, maybe we can do that. and I did not know that everything lined up exactly. So that's how we got involved with them, and we paid for the stove and whatever is in there right now. And then we had, that year, we were able to donate to the fairgrounds, I think $20,000, and the Historical Society, which I was involved also, about the same amount, either 10 or 20. But in those few years that I was out there working all the time, we had donated to the Ellis County Historical Society about $100,000 and $100,000 to the fairground improvements. So at that time, they didn't have a name for the building in between those two buildings. And they wanted to, since the one was Schenck Building and the other one, I think, was Gold at the time yet. I don't think it was Unrun. And they said, why don't we name that Leo Dortzweiler? I said, no, you don't do that. I says, a lot of this money is collected from Unselide, our people. And if you put it on one fellow, why, they're going to say, I did more of this and that. And kind of the German way of doing things. So I says, why don't we just make it Unselide, our people? And that's how that building came along as being called Unselide Building. So after Lauren got everything organized out there, did all kinds of improvements, and we helped him every year. And after he passed on, I thought we ought to have a tribute for Lauren, because he was the leader of the pack. And now if we wouldn't have had the money to help him along, he wouldn't have been able to do it. So my suggestion was, and I've talked to the family, about making it the Lauren Zimmerman building, I think, and I don't care how we do it, the Lauren Zimmerman and the Unselide, because our people helped with the finances. So we could have the Lauren Zimmerman meeting room, call it, or whatever, and whichever you and the family would agree, it's all right with me. But I think Lauren should be listed as the leader of the pack. So if Mrs. Zimmerman has anything to say, or Kyle, Kyle, you've got to say something, because aber folgt nicht weit von Stamm. Lauren always had something to say. If you want to come up and help, or if you want to do that after we're done, it's fine with me. Any questions?
So, why now, I guess, is the question. Mr. Zimmerman passed several years ago, so why now?
What was the question?
Why now? Why today? Mr. Zimmerman's been gone for several years now, so why now?
Well, if you're going to pay a tribute to somebody, they usually wait till they pass on. And he did a lot of work out there. And I think you should reward him, because that way it gives somebody else an incentive to keep working harder and get things done.
Okay.
It's just like the commission here. If they don't do anything, we don't need them. So after you're gone, we're thinking either thank the Lord or or too bad at this time.
Yep.
Any other questions? And speak loud, because
Right.
this old boy's getting older. And before we do that, I want to personally thank all the contributors on the light that has been giving us money every year for that. And even this year, our celebration is going to be July 19th out there. And we've gathered up some money again from the same people to get that rolling. And the money that we have left goes over to the new Historical Society building in Victoria, Kansas.
Okay.
And that building is going to be quite an asset, I think, in future years.
I guess I just want to say, thanks Heath, your grandson, for coming here. And everybody in this room got a good lesson of history and put that in your mind, because like I say, when he's gone, he's gone. So I didn't know a lot of those things, and I do now. But
And if you are considering doing this, I would invite you to be out there the 19th when we have our celebration to make the dedication to Mrs. Zimmerman about 2 o'clock, or we set a time. We'd appreciate that. Any other questions from the back end, or?
I really have no
Randy.
no further questions. So.
Well, I'm Randy Walker. I think to answer Commissioner Lakem's question, I think why now? Leo was in a position to, he knew the history here, so he knew all of the things that's happened. And when he's gone, I'm not sure anybody's gonna remember what all went into this project and who all contributed.
When he's gone, they're going to say, "Thank the Lord" again. Thank you, Randy.
Gotcha. I really have no concerns at this time. I think going forward for naming rights on buildings and streets and stuff like that, we need to come up with maybe a route to go instead of coming this direction. But I have really no opposition to moving forward with this.
Yeah, I don't need it. Logistically, I know it's kind of in there in the agenda as far as just signage and that kind of stuff. What do we potentially have to do or not do?
So a couple, Darren Myers, County Administrator, a couple of the items that was brought up between individual conversations with Mr. Dortzweiler, the Zimmerman family, as well as some of the commissioners, were the signage on the buildings. The actual Deutschfest Hall signage was not placed back onto the building because it was getting old enough after we repainted the building. So it does not have a sign. The Unrein and the Schenck buildings both have signs, but they're somewhat similar. So Commissioner Leiker had suggested that we re-sign all three buildings, which helps eliminate some of the confusion when families, reunions, weddings, parties, whatever is going on out there. Have three new signs made for the building. And then it was also suggested, and Commissioner Younger has visited with me several times about this, is maybe look at some LED marquee signs for the Schenck and the Unrein building. So that way, when there is multiple events out there, you know, if you're going to such and such wedding, it can be lit up out there that this is certain wedding here, a certain wedding there. The idea to do all that, we would use, those are budgeted either in capital or in their operating budget for the fairgrounds or the fair rental budget. I visited with Mr. Tom Frost, he's in the back of the room there as well, and I kind of came up with somewhat of a design idea for the signs. We can go out and get bids if the commissioner wants, and get the building signed up, as well as working with some better signs for the LED marquees. There'll probably have to be some electrical done out there to get signage or electricity to the sign. And then I talked to Mr. Frost and his wife as well about having a certain type of sign so that way they can remotely access it to update it when there's different weddings, events going out there. So that way they don't have to physically be on site every couple days to program a sign. The idea for that then, for the signs as well as the LED marquees, are to use the Fair Deposit Fund, which are funds that have collected over the years for rentals, for insurance, and then deposits that are not returned to different things. There's sufficient money in there as well as reserves to be able to pay for those signs and the marquees if the commission wants us to direct that. So I just need some direction from the commissioners. If you want us to do all that, I can, we can do some more research, come up with a plan, a design, cost estimate, and if you like, we can just move it with staff. It's within our budget authority, or if you want it brought back to the commission so you can see it as well, we can do that.
Okay.
And we will keep the Fair Board members in the loop on this so they can have their say
Correct.
or ideas.
That was what Commissioner Likert suggested was one of the Fair Board's concerns right away when it was first brought up, as well as after a couple of them started to discuss, is we really don't have any, so to speak, naming rights. I don't want to really call it a policy, but maybe more of a process of why something should be named, by who, for what purpose, whether it be for money, volunteer hours, dedication, service, whatever it may be, and then create a process which could potentially start with that process starting with the Fair Board, so they can review it, and if they, because they're the ones that know the most about the fairgrounds, the history, what's going on, who helps, etc., and start the process with them. And then if they were to approve, it could be brought up to the county commission for proper approval. But that's just some of the initial thoughts.
Okay.
But the Fair Board, I visited with the Fair Board president about it. He's okay. They know the history and Mr. Zimmerman and everything that he did, as well as I talked to Tom and Melinda, and they're in favor of it, as well as they've been out there for 20 plus years managing the property too.
Well, I'll go ahead and move to approve the renaming of the Deutschfest Hall to the Lauren Zimmerman and Unser Deutschfest Meeting Room.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you, Mr. Dortzweiler. You made history, and so did Lauren, because like I say, we're probably going to have some kind of a,
Dankeschön, and we'll see you out there at their celebration.
so we will have some kind of a policy now if there's something named, that something to follow. So, but this is the way the old timers done it, and
Very
it
good.
worked.
Thank
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So Darren, bring that signage to the commission so we can see it for
Yeah,
final
we'll-
approval and all that.
We'll work with a local company, or maybe I can ask Carissa. I don't think we're in a quite big of a hurry, but maybe we can come up with some, I don't know what you call them, some draft proposals of what the signs were. The shank and the underline are essentially the same. They're just ovals with the name of the building, but we'll come up with some ideas and kind of vet them with the fairground managers as well as the Fair Board.
Okay. And then we'll put some of the ideas for naming rights on a next work session, which whenever is that, September, I think.
Well, I don't think we've actually set one, since the next one's essentially next week for the budget. But
Right.
yeah, it'd be a couple months after that, so August, September.
Okay. So we'll add that to our work session.
And like I say, I think Tom and Melinda should have some say in it too, because they're going to be the ones, they get called first. So, yeah, like Tom.
Tom had made the suggestion, and instead of calling it a hall anymore, is to call it a meeting room. They get a lot of confusion when they have rentals out there that they see Deutschfest Hall, and they think it's big, where you can have a wedding or event, a large space, when it actually is only about 50 feet wide and only can fit about 50, 60, 70 people. So renaming it as a meeting room will help them create confusion,
Okay.
thinking we have 3 halls during it when technically there's only 2.
Okay. Very good.
Okay, county property and Shinshin. Kyle Zimmerman. We've been waiting this for a long time.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
I'm Kyle Zimmerman, Shenshon City Council, coming here to formally propose that we transfer ownership of that 0.4 acre lot on the north end of the Shenshon city limits over to the city of Shenshon. Want to propose that to you guys.
Is there any reason the county owned this lot?
You guys have owned it since the 1940s.
Okay.
Leo might remember.
If I could hear it.
The best I could tell, because there's not really much of a deed for it either. I had the gals upstairs try to find me an abstract on it just to figure out who owned it originally or what property it was originally tied to. And there's really just a clause in like a sheriff's sale where it was acquired, whether it was from unpaid taxes or whatever might be. And there's literally just a clause and an outline of several properties, and that was it.
Okay.
Unless Bill might have found anything more relevant than that.
County Councilor Bill Jeter. I never did look at the title, Kyle, and it may have come through a tax foreclosure sale that there weren't any bidders, so the county just bid it in.
Yeah.
Probably where it came from.
Okay.
And I might remind the commission that the statutes allow us to dispose or to give property if we retain some ownership rights in it. And otherwise, we're gonna have to sell it at a fair market value. So what I would propose to do, if the commission is agreeable, is we can deed it to the city of Shenshon and reserve the right in the event it's no longer used for city of Shenshon municipal purposes, the title reverts back to the county. And that way we've retained some ownership interest in it and we don't have to sell it. If you would agree, we can just give it to them.
Okay.
That means you
And
can't
that
sell
would,
it.
that would prevent Shenshon from turning around and selling
Selling
it
it,
at some
okay.
point to a third party.
And it does attach to the property, the city, not that one, the one on the north side of that. Yep. There's just a little attachment there, about 40 foot in that corner, but it does attach to property the city already does own.
Okay.
And I think it'd be in both of our best interests to have that surveyed to where property lines are defined clearly.
That would be a suggestion I have too. I know I've worked with Kyle in the appraiser's office and I think we've come up with a legal description, but it probably should be surveyed.
We use James Mice for most of our surveying. He's got Shenshon down pretty well, so I mean, we'd be prepared to do that.
Okay.
Bill, what was your reserve the right to have the title revert back if it was used for something else?
Yeah, if it was no longer used for the city of Shenshon municipal purposes, title would revert back to Ellis County.
I know Kyle, going to a lot of your meetings, you guys are gonna utilize that piece of property good. So
Oh, yeah.
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 You've already got plans and very good.
And I believe at this point, if the commission, well, we would ask for the commission, if the commission has the intent to want to proceed with this, you just give us the go-ahead now and we can get the legal description, get it surveyed, and we can bring it back to a future commission agenda item for the motion to proceed after all the legal issues are taken care of with Mr. Jeter.
I have a question for Kyle. Would the city of Shenshon pay for the survey?
I would guess so, yes. We have a council meeting this evening, so I can get that approved tonight and let you know.
Okay, we can do that.
And you guys have been taking care of it in the past, correct?
Correct.
Yep.
Yep.
I have no problem turning it over to him. I've only been waiting like 6 years, I think, something like that, but yeah.
Okay. No, I have no problem proceeding.
Okay. We'll make that approval this evening at our city council meeting, get it surveyed, and I'll send that to Bill and we'll get the ball rolling.
Okay.
Very
Thank you,
good.
guys.
Then
Very
what
good,
I'll
Kyle.
do is just prepare a deed and we'll get that back in front of the commission
Okay.
Okay.
approval.
Okay, next, citizen comment on the Ellis EMS, Elaine?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
My name is Ellen Riedel, and I live in Ellis. I'm here in opposition to the $3.5 million EMS fire station facility that has been proposed for Ellis, a community of 2,000 people or less. I also have here a petition of over 300 signatures, and it could be many more very easily. I did, however, meet one person in door knocking that thought that this was actually a good idea. So I wanted to share that with you. Are you aware that our grocery store just closed? Our high school has gone to an 8-man football team. If we don't get kids in that school, it could go to a 6-man. Our town is doing this, it's shrinking. Are you tone deaf to what is happening 16 miles west? Were there any studies done saying that we need this facility? While I was door knocking, visiting with my neighbors, I met firefighters and EMS workers, went to the EMS building and asked them how, do we need this? How would it impact our community? The overall consensus is that I actually met 3 firefighters that said it would be nice. And I said, it would be nice in helping people, like helping save lives, it would be nice, or it would be nice because it's new. It would be nice because it's new. What I found in talking to everyone in the EMS department and fire station firefighters is that these facilities are in serious need of attention. The EMS building apparently leaks and has mold in it. And our fire station, one of the firefighters said to me that, he's tired of squeegeeing the floors because the roof leaks when it rains. So then, as taxpayers, our questions become, why haven't you been maintaining our current facilities? Okay. A good indication of future behavior is past behavior. So why have we not been maintaining our current facilities? Let's say new buildings are needed. An intelligent person or intelligent board members would have done due diligence. A new facility could be so nice for a fraction of the cost when it's done in metal buildings. A few $100,000 maybe, we know that. If you go to fire stations in other states, let's say in Oklahoma, they're in metal buildings. This helps keep property taxes down in their areas. Does anyone do analysis for the use of our money? And can we see that analysis? One firefighter said to me, what actually fights fires? Water. Ellis is in dire need of pump stations because of the water pressure on the south end of town, apparently in the middle of town. In order to fight fires, we need pressure. We need pump stations. We need repair to our roads and to our bridges so that fire trucks and ambulances can actually get to the fires and to the patients and be able to work on the patients as they drive down the roads. There's so much good that could actually be done with this amount of money. We hear of words on the news like waste, fraud, and abuse. Let me be clear, I'm not suggesting, nor do I have any evidence of fraud. However, it is my opinion that a facility like this is extremely wasteful, and it is an abuse of your position as well as taxpayers, because it's going to strap us with all sorts of debt. Sometimes I tune into the county meetings, and it's a little reminiscent of the Oprah Winfrey Show. You get a new car, and you get a new car, and you get a new building, and you get a new building. We are not your indentured servants. You work for us. We just celebrated this great nation's 250th birthday. Do we remember why we had the Revolutionary War? Taxation. Hello. I believe you have been very poor stewards of our tax dollars. My neighbors agree with me. We need men of courage sitting in your chairs. And while I have your attention in closing, the next time you would like to give yourself raises, which apparently is today, I encourage you to go back to the doors that you knocked on when you asked for their votes and ask them how they think you're doing. Have their property taxes gone down? Better yet, add it to the ballot of a general election. Let the people who employ you decide that. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Ms. Riedel, I have a question. You keep referring to the building. Could you describe what type of building you think we're proposing?
My understanding is that it's a combined EMS and fire station. I believe my husband and I spoke to you several months ago on the phone. You're looking for a couple acres of land for this facility, correct?
And what type of construction do you think that we are proposing?
Well, maybe something similar to what's on 41st Street.
I don't think you've attended very many meetings.
Well, I'm telling you, you could build the type of building that you think you need for far less than $3.5 million doesn't even pencil.
Again, you've
And
missed
I've
a few
spoken-
meetings.
Okay, I have spoken to people in the EMS, I don't want to call anyone out, that said that the way the facilities have been designed doesn't even make sense. That's not coming from me. That's coming from your county employees.
We have a
Again,
design, yeah.
we don't
We
have
don't
a
have a design yet. We haven't gone,
yeah.
That's coming from the county employees. That,
okay,
yeah.
well, Danita's here, she could speak to that as the actual EMS director, but one of the buildings we have, or which one, the EMS, is actually a leased building from the city of Ellis. So maintenance and those kind of things would actually, should fall on them as far as why haven't we maintained certain things? Because it's not a county building, it's leased.
Well, what's interesting when you talk about taxation is that everyone seems to be pointing the finger at everyone else.
I don't disagree that we authorize taxation, that's what a county commission does. But on this project, we have been pretty straightforward over the last couple of years as we've done this, that we are not raising taxes to do these projects. It's a $10 million bond project for the renovation of the sheriff's department, HVAC of the courthouse. This is part of it, the EMS fire consolidation of things, because those buildings at some point, and I certainly know what's going on over Ellis. I represent that area. I go over there quite often. Yeah, there's concerns about it, but are you telling us we should just ignore the city of Ellis and let it collapse, that we should not
No.
invest into it?
Did you
Because
not?
I mean, that's
We need
part
pump
of it.
okay, if we're fighting fires, we need water. Could we agree on that? We need pump stations for water pressure. Those buildings do need to be addressed. Absolutely. There are that
And that's
money.
part of what cities needs to do over there.
Okay,
This is a county facility to run out within the county on the western part of the county into the rural areas to get EMS and fire, volunteer fire into those areas.
correct. So are you saying that Old 40 is not a county road?
As far as going which way, both, yeah, it's a county road.
Okay, well, that road needs repaired.
It's part of our road projects over the next 13 years that we've outlined.
In
Yeah,
fact,
these are projects that us as a commission are on our capital plan for the next 10 years. And what we've essentially done is move those projects forward to take care of them now, because we don't have to raise taxes to do it. Get these projects going, so that way for the next 50 years, future commissions don't have to emergency try to decide how they're gonna take care of the HVAC when it collapses. Or
so
take care of buildings that haven't been maintained.
the bond that you're referring to, is that a municipal bond?
The geo municipal bond, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So one reason that investors like these type of bonds is because a taxing entity, Incomes Ellis County, taxes the citizens in
Right.
order
And
to
we have
make
the
sure.
ability to raise the tax to cover the bond. I
You
understand
just
that.
said that our taxes weren't going to
But we have
be raised.
outlined it, how we are taking care of this through sales tax, through the sale of the previous public works building. So again, interest rates are low. We've got it in the bank now. So the first interest is actually coming to us that we'll use to take care of the first payment. So we've outlined carefully how we're
And
not
have you
raising
outlined
taxes.
carefully how this $3.5 million facility will be maintained?
Yeah, sure. How would it not be maintained? I mean, that's
No, no,
part
no.
of just
But like how,
normal maintenance
how you will pay for that?
through the
When I
bond.
say you, I'm sure that that comes back to we the people,
Right,
right? Via taxation,
through sales tax or
property tax.
But we're
Mhm.
not raising the property tax to take care of it, the building, that's the thing,
Valuations keep increasing.
okay? You're in real estate, that's a good thing. I want my home value to go up, right?
Do you want
We
your property taxes to keep going up? We can, that's a
Well, that's how,
whole
we're
other
in the
ball of
budget
wax.
next week and we'll discuss how the mills affect property taxes.
Correct, both.
So it's not just a simple, just because property tax goes up, taxes have to go up. We will have that discussion. We have it each year during the budget process. But as we've outlined this project, it is not part of the property tax discussion.
Well, I think you guys should really take a look at these numbers again, because our community, that is a huge number.
So the only,
And
I
that's
mean,
a
at this
portion
point,
of the bigger
the only way to
bond.
look at it again is just not build it over an Ellis and let Ellis, just ignore them, I guess.
I think you're
Right.
not paying attention to the point of this. You can build buildings. Let's say you take you redo the EMS building, okay? And the county fire station. You can do that for a fraction of the cost of $3.5 million.
And we probably will. That's again, you're throwing a number out that we haven't put out there as far as what it's gonna cost and what
On
we're
your
gonna do.
website.
So,
It's on your website. That's where I got the
The-
info.
but we're not in that
Thank you.
process, so you put
Just-
a number out there and yes, we will take that into consideration. How do we get this thing down? I don't,
So just for reference, the $3.5 million was on our initial bid that we got from an overall project from Hutton Construction back in April, I believe. That was all encompassing. That was a $14 million project. I guess that would have been about November, December of last year. This commission whittled it down and took a lot of
$4
numbers
million
out
off.
and did a bond of 10.8 versus over 14.
Right.
So that also included reducing the fire EMS and Ellis from a 3.5 that you're referencing to now we have it slated at just over 2.5, which is still a large number, but it is also commercial construction and taking into account possible acquisition of land and land prep, site prep. So it takes a lot to do that.
Mm-hmm.
That does not mean we don't have any drawings on that. We have not gone out to bid on that. That does not mean that we are going to spend that either. So,
And for clarification too, just as you request or reference the fire station on 41st Street, that's a City of Hayes fire station for the
understand that.
City of Hayes, not a
You
metal
asked what kind of
building.
construction that I thought it would be like.
As referenced in the same figures that you had looked up through the agenda, it also references and been discussed that it is a pre-engineered metal building, and which is what the budget estimates were, but it's a conceptual design that we spent $800 on as a group, just to say that if you build something approximately this time, it's basically a space needs analysis of, yeah, this size of trucks, this many people, this type of room, how much is it going to make the size of a building, so that way you can get a construction analysis with an estimate done that it's going to cost. As well as, so that came up with roughly 3.5 million, not knowing if it would get approved, where it would be located, if that size of building could be on any ground, or go with a completely different option and look at other buildings that could be renovated. We just had to start somewhere of this is what it may look like, this is what it may cost. And then we threw that 3.5 million includes all the extras. So one of the options was we met with the city of Ellis because they have an Ellis fire station. that they may be able to expand and put their fire trucks in as well, because that's about the cheapest you're going to do is consolidate, combine. So that included, I think, almost $390,000 of that would be taken off.
My understanding is that I don't think they want to do that.
No,
but,
they don't.
yeah.
But it was there. It was an option, so we wanted to present it with them. It included a mezzanine level like above the roof, so that way above the office space or the living space, you could have a storage space. That was almost another $300,000 that was taken off. They had a very high contingency that was put in there of roughly $300,000. There was another $290,000 in there for design build, which would be significantly reduced as well. When you add all that up, that was over $1.2 million that would be reduced from that building out of that estimates of the pre-engineered metal building, which is nothing like what's on 41st Street.
It's still a lot of money, though.
Yes.
It is.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, jail security system upgrade, Mr. Scott.
Good morning, Ellis County
Morning.
Sheriff.
Morning.
Before I could come before you today in regards to the jail video control access system replacement. As you know, we've sent it out for bids some time ago. We wrote our specs pretty tight to ensure that we have coverage within the state of Kansas, which was part of that bid process. And that they have X amount of time to respond to our facility. We've had out-of-state ones that we've had issues with, so that's the reason it was written so tight to make sure that we get that system backing up and going. But today, our current system is at end of life, and with the remodel that we're doing, we're adding a lot of other things, which is door controls, etc. And so it seems fitting to upgrade that and to repair something that is at end of life. It's 13 plus years old. We've done some upgrades in the past, but again, we're also tied to a business that is out of state, and we have a hard time getting them there to us, which takes weeks and sometimes months to get them there. So today I'm before you to discuss the control system. And we had sent it out and received a bid back from Electronic Contracting Company. They did a thorough system of rebuilding everything, bringing in the components into in one step with completing it in about a week or so of getting the system back up and running for us with the new one. They proposed a much higher bid than what we originally wanted, but I think there was some misunderstanding. So they redid it. We received one other proposal, which came through email, which was not within these what our requirements were to receive a bid from someone. So they were not viewed at. The revised proposal came to $359,112.49, with the caveat of a 2 to 5 year care plan. Which is basically covers any components that go down within that time. I propose that the $359,000 and $359,112.49 is the bid that we go with. The care plan would be, I would recommend that although we agree to this contract for the 5 years, we utilize that out of capital. We put that in our contractuals and we pay that out of our contractuals rather than in order to keep our bond within specs of what we need. So, and by doing the 5 year, we would save about $16,702.60 over the 5 year plan. But it's imperative that we upgrade our system and also make sure that we have a care system to cover that. They have this company has that they will respond within an hour to us remotely to our system to fix it. If they can't, they have to be on site within 3 hours. to get our system back and up and running, because it is so crucial that our control is maintained and has the best response time. So, Commissioners, do you have any questions for me?
So this is going to be a similar system to what other jail in the state?
There's 4 other ones throughout the state. This is going to be a Linux system, which is a very stable platform. And that's one of the reasons the updates are not as required as often. In fact, once you put this in, it will run for a lifetime, whatever that is, whether that's 15 years or whatever, as opposed to our Windows-based, where every time you touch them, they break something, as we are all familiar with them. So this will not touch the outside network. That's one of the things. And in fact, our phone recorder in dispatch is also on a Linux system, which is very stable, and that's why they're going with that too. I've spoken with several IT people, one of them being our past administrator, Mike Leiker, in regards to this, and I've also spoken to a couple other that are familiar with this system. They've got them throughout the state of Kansas at several locations. I forget the name, sorry about that, as well as other states. They've been extremely responsive, this company, to getting back and answering any questions for us.
Okay.
They've also been through 3 times through our facility. They're required to come once through the facility to make sure they understood what was required. And they're also working with our camera system tie-ins with one of the companies that we use to make sure that everything works throughout the entire building.
Okay. So this will be a totally offline system when we are finished.
Unless we plug it in. That's the
Okay.
only way. So, yes.
What is life expectancy on this type of system?
You know, if we get 13 to 15 years on that, they claim that this platform, and I'm not a computer guy, I'm just going to tell you what I've been told. Our lieutenant in the jail is very, very knowledgeable about computers, and he has said this is a very stable system. I would think if we'd get 15 years out of this, probably, there'll be some there'll be some things that go. But if we're able to get 15 years, I would think that would be a very good lifespan on them.
Okay. And this is just access control and video control, but is this in the jail cells and in all of that?
Yeah, so that encompasses everything, actually even throughout the entire building that we have. It is tied into door remote access. They can open doors downstairs in our booking area. It touches all of the cameras throughout, not only through the law enforcement center, but also through the court system. They're able to monitor there. It does downstairs. We'll be able to have that access. We're adding those cameras downstairs also within our facility. And so it truly is going to encompass everything and give dispatch as well as the jail and us as in my office, so we have access to all those cameras and able to see what's going on should we need it.
Okay.
Explain that, the financing again, so.
Yep.
The 3, I'm going to go back to it, so.
Yep. So the
359 is project cost, and we got that, but you're gonna cover the care system.
Yeah, so if we sign that 5-year contract, unless the commission want to pull it from the bond, and Darren may be able to chime in with this, my thoughts were is we would just cover that our contractuals for each year rather than add it to our bond unless you guys decide that you want it under the bond. But we were going to pay obviously the 359, 112, 49 covers the system, and then the care package is extended. There's 1 year within that's covered for that 359, 112, 49, and then there'll be the remaining 4 years of care, and that's the 4 years that I'm talking about. Maybe we just take that out of our contractuals if that's what you think serves us.
Do you
best.
get that? Do you have to pay that 4 years? So that's another 100,000. Do you have to pay that now, or is it just 25,000 each year? So you'll be able to budget the next 4 years with that in there.
We would just budget every year because it'll come due at the end of well, not this 27, but the 28. We just
We're
pay
locked
that.
into that price. That's what I
Correct.
guess I'm a
Yes.
little worried about. Sometimes you get these contracts and then next year the price goes up next year for that. So
Yeah.
it locks in at that with this agreement.
And I would just budget within contractuals to make sure we get that covered.
as far as the other law office, have they had to have anybody come in with not being able to work remote? Do they have to physically come there? Because you're saying they have a travel time of,
Yeah,
Okay.
the other company tried to, but the system is having issues, and so they would have to travel. The first time when we first got that new system in 13 years ago, the company was actually out of Colorado. And so it would take them anywhere from 2 weeks to get here if they couldn't do it a remote type of thing. And then they moved to Kentucky, which is their main office. So then it was even further for staff to come in and work on it. The other big thing about it is we could not outsource that in any way, shape, or form because they had our passwords and they would not share those master passwords, and that's written in our contract this time. It's our system and we own it, so we will have that access. Should something go awry, I don't anticipate that in any way, shape, or form with this company, but if so, then we can seek others to come in and man our system and fix it.
so Scott, is this a safety thing plus an upgrade for our personnel?
So the control system is the heart of the operation. Just like, and when that is down, it changes everything. We view the reason we're able to keep our numbers of employees down within reason is because we have that system that allows us to see so many things going on. Should that goes down, that changes everything for us with our staff. And at that point in time, if we didn't have it, we would have to increase staff dramatically to make sure that everyone is safe.
Okay. So this is very important going forward, just like a fire station EMS building. So I know it's a lot of money, but if it ensures our safety of everybody, yeah.
Yeah. Technology is expensive. We all
Yes,
know that.
yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Scott, some of this was already pre-planned
Yeah.
prior to this.
Yeah. We've been talking about it for a little while. You're correct.
Yeah. So this is just the time to put it in.
Yes. While we're adding moving doors, et cetera, within the law enforcement center, this will tie in nicely and it will save us some money.
Got it.
And as far as training our people, that's included?
All included,
Okay.
and our guys are young, so they get it, and
Yep.
it's like a video game. They know how to run it, so.
Okay. Well, I'll move to approve PO number 8008 for the purchase and installation of video jail control access control system by Electronic Contracting Company.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. And that was, we didn't list it in our motion, but that was for the 359 and the
Yeah, the PO amount written, which Bobby has, is for the amount of 359,112.49.
Okay.
And that is coming out of the budgeted bond proceeds that were collected.
right.
Okay, the courts, repath software, Mr. Mike and Teresa. Okay,
Morning.
good
Mike
morning.
Smith, District Court Administrator. Back in December, we came to you and requested opioid funds to purchase repath software. I think we've come a couple of different times because we've used this software for recovery court also. Right now, this is being used for court services, and I have Teresa here to explain and give you an update, because at that time you guys requested to let you know how it's going. So I think Teresa can update you on how that is going.
That'd be great.
Good morning, Teresa
morning.
Greenwood, Chief Court Services Officer. We are actively using this program for supervision of our bonds, and over the 6 months we've had the program, we've had 15 individuals that have been on this program, and currently we have 7 that are active. So these are individuals that are supervised by our office that are it's before their conviction, it's pretrial supervision. This application allows us to enter in exclusion zones. Several of our people we supervise are not allowed contact with other individuals, and this app monitors that for us and also alerts the defendant if they're near an exclusion zone. So we use it for that. We also, individuals that are on pretrial supervision have a curfew, and this application allows us to monitor that as well. Their 8 p.m. curfew, it alerts us if they are not back into their residence. So it has GPS tracking has been one of the main benefits of it. We also utilize it for travel restrictions if they're not allowed to leave Ellis County or leave the state. This allows us to see whether or not they have done that. It also has a feature where we can message the defendant. We can also enter in appointment reminders, court reminders, meeting reminders with our office. It's been very beneficial for that. We can also initiate a check-in immediately if we need to locate someone in a timely manner for law enforcement or for our own inquiry. We can generate a check-in to where it tells us right where they are. We also can flag, this application flags if a defendant is with other defendants that are using the REPATH application, even if they are on community corrections and not with us. It can generate a concern is how it looks on our computer screen, where it shows if our defendants are interacting when they should not. So there's been a lot of benefits to it. We can also, if the defendant turns their phone off or powers off their location service, we're immediately notified. And we can run all kinds of different reports as well within this program that allows us to ensure their compliance and see if there's any issues for the court that we need to review. So it really has been a benefit. These individuals are pre-conviction, pending trial, and they're not having to just sit in jail when there is the lower risk for the community on the type of the offense. So it allows them to be out in the community, but also has that added security for the public and public safety, and more accountability for the defendant as well to do what they're supposed to do. So, does anyone have any questions for me on the REPATH application?
I guess, has it been used to pick up somebody who violates this software? Have we utilized that?
We have. We've had individuals that have turned their location off or left their phone behind, and once verified, that has been a tool we have used in court for when we have to go for other violations back in front of the court. So it has.
Okay.
I'd add, as a former court services officer, this tool kind of gives a lot of insight into somebody that we really don't know anything about. When they come from pretrial services, when they're released from jail, a lot of these people we've never seen before. Some of them we have. I mean, some of them we've seen a lot of times, and we know what we're dealing with. Some of them we don't know, but once we get them on this, we find out where they're at, where they're going, who they've been with, whether or not they're going to comply with the conditions that we have. If they do all those things, it also gives the prosecutor a little bit of a heads up to this sort of person that's, a viable candidate for probation, gives them, better decision making on if they're going to make any plea offers or sentencing decisions for judges. It's been a really good tool to give a lot of insight into their behavior.
Very good.
Good.
Very good.
Well, thank you for the update.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, motor vehicle fee changes, resolution 2026-13, Mr. Vern.
All right, good morning, Commissioners. Martin Ruger, Ellis County Treasurer. I'm here today to discuss my proposed funding plan for the Motor Vehicle and Treasury Department for the 2027 budget in the next few years. Recently, the Kansas Legislature passed Senate Bill 325, which addresses long-term funding for county motor vehicle operations. This bill creates a statewide task force made up of legislators, county treasurers, industry professionals to study ways to improve vehicle registration and title services. Their goal is to make services more modern, efficient, and financially stable. More immediately, Senate Bill 325 provides counties with a new revenue tool. Beginning July 1st, 26, the current $250 in-office fee will be eliminated and replaced with authority for counties to implement a base transaction fee of up to $5 per transaction across all service methods, including in-office, online, Dropbox transactions, and in the mail. In addition, from January 1st, 2027 through December 31st, 2029, counties may adopt a temporary additional increase of up to $5 per transaction for a total possible fee of $10, subject to approval by the county commission. During this period, counties will also be required to provide impact reporting to the state, which may influence whether funding authority is extended beyond 2029. In Ellis County, about 70% of the work we do in our office is motor vehicle related, while about 30% is treasury related. However, the funding has not always matched that workload. Because of this, motor vehicle operations have depended heavily on treasury funding, which mainly comes from local property taxes, to keep services running at current levels. Our combined treasury and motor vehicle budget is about $850,000 per year. Around $600,000 comes from our treasury budget side, and $250,000 comes from the motor vehicle budget. Our office handles around 40,000 motor vehicle transactions every year. That averages about 165 transactions per day handled by 5 front counter clerks. We also process around 45,000 tax statements annually, with the busiest times being November and December, and April and May for second half taxes. It is important to understand that motor vehicle transactions involve title work, registration renewals, lien processing, commercial vehicle transaction, and detailed customer service, all of which require substantially more staff time and administrative oversight per transaction. Tax payments are generally much quicker and simpler to process. This new legislation provides an opportunity to create a more transparent and sustainable funding model. Based on our transaction volume, each $1 increase in the transaction fee would generate approximately $28,000 annually. This creates a predictable, user-based revenue stream that more accurately aligns funding with the actual demand for service. Every person that drives a car in Ellis County should help pay for motor vehicle services. This includes renters who do not pay real estate property tax, where a large portion of the treasury motor vehicle budget comes from. My recommendation is to adopt the additional $5 transaction fee beginning in 2027. This would better match funding for the department's actual workload, help stabilize our operations through at least 2030, and reduce the amount of property tax support needed. This approach also positioned the county well for the state's required reporting from 2027 through 2029, and ensures we are prepared should the legislature consider extending this funding authority in the future. In summary, this proposal represents a transparent user-based funding solution that strengthens the long-term sustainability of our operations, while helping relieve the property tax burden on our residents. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
So it has in here, it has can be from $5 up to $10 of a fee. Why have you chosen the $5?
The $5 that's implemented July 1st will give us around $380,000 motor vehicle money from the state. And the state's allowing the extra $5, like I said, in $1 increments. You can see what it does for our budget. We can take our treasury budget for 2027 from close to $650,000 down to $380,000. So we can save $300,000 off of the property tax side, and like I said, charge motor vehicle, depending on how many vehicles you have, is how much you should spend. I have 3 vehicles, I'll spend $30 extra next year.
Okay.
So there's a 5 that went in. Are you saying
5
5 went into
effect?
5
went in effect July 1st.
July 1
Yep.
through
Okay.
last year. So what you're asking is
The additional
the
5.
additional 5 starting
Okay.
in January into the next budget. Okay. And that additional 5, again, I'm just repeating what it says, but is it just, it's only allowed for 3 years, and at that point, it will expire based on this, or if legislation?
If legislation, I have to send in reporting after next year. We have to show what it's being used for. And after 2029, they'll decide on whether to extend it past 2030. So this is a 3-year kind of a test for the state to see if we do need more motor vehicle funding.
Yeah.
But
When you show that, are you showing that the reduction that it's helping on the property tax side, or what are you kind of
Yeah,
showing them? I mean, you're
I'll-
gonna show
I'll
them
be-
you collected more, but
Yeah, I'll be showing that we're using most of the money, well, all of the money. We're gonna be funding 7 of our 10 employees through motor vehicle.
uh-huh.
I already buy all our office supplies for our motor vehicle budget. I'm trying to, I guess, keep it at that 70-30 mix. So we're not, right now, we're at the 30% paying for motor vehicle and 70% for property tax side. So I want to show the state that we're actually using it for motor vehicle.
And you got this, because we have budgeting coming up here in the next
Yep.
couple of weeks. I mean, have you factored this in, this approval, or not as of yet?
I have factored both.
Okay.
I have factored if you just want to say $1, $3, nothing, $5. Have that all factored in. Like I said, it's up to the commission on how much money you want to fund with property tax dollars.
Well, I guess I'd say the $5 we've been yelled at today for property taxes, so.
Yeah, it's another revenue tool that the state gives us to at least help relieve that burden.
Well, I'll move to adopt the additional motor vehicle $5 transaction fee and approve resolution 2026-13 to begin on January 1, 2027 and end on December 31, 2029.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All the same opposed. Excuse me.
All right, thank you. I'll come back next year and let you know how the
Okay.
state reporting is.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Vern.
Okay, COLA adjustment and elected officials salary resolution. Darren?
Darren Myers, County Administrator. Last item on your agenda is to discuss the review of the 2026 mid-year COLA adjustments per policy set by the County Commission. That process starts with reviewing the last 3 years of the Social Security Administration's COLA adjustments and look at those 3 years, find the average. As it's stated in your agenda packet, 2025 is a 2.5, but the previous 2 years, or the previous year before that was 3.2, and the 3-year average is 2.8. So taking that into account, we have budgeted each year for a mid-year COLA adjustment outside of every departmental budget, just in case the commission does not have the desire to move forward with COLA or something catastrophic happens where we can't afford it or if things different change. And then that is brought to the commission each year by policy. So before you today is the adjustments that are suggested to be made based on the policy of the 2.8% 3-year average. And roughly $220,000 is budgeted through the Budget Stabilization Fund that can be utilized to redistribute through all the county departments that have employees that would be impacted by this. The $220,000 that would be budgeted, we're actually only I'm only suggesting that we use roughly $2,200 of that to make these adjustments. That's based on 2 key factors. We had several positions that have been open for part of the year that we're waiting. One good example is a assistant county attorney, which is obviously a high-paying position. They're waiting for the individual to pass the bars and not start till later this year. So a couple of positions that are open, we've reallocated their full-time position to only part-time positions for the remaining of the year. So that's essentially 50% of their salaries. We also had the budget for several months of cross-training with the transition of our IT director, and then the reimplication or redistribution of health insurance fees. We had budgeted 7% increase for 2026, and when we got our renewals, which are always received after the budget, those renewal rates were less than what we anticipated, which is always good news. And then obviously, when we complete a budget and the commission approves on it, that's based on numbers and figures and employees in August of a previous year. We are in July, almost 11 months later. So many positions have changed. When those positions change, the prior person may have or open positions at that time are funded as a family position or family health plan. If they come in, we hire somebody, it's only as a single employee plan for health insurance, those numbers are removed and reduced, and then be able to reallocate for this mid-year COLA adjustment. So that way, budget authorities, property taxes that are associated with each department are reallocated, updated halfway throughout the year to fully fund those positions based on where they're at today, not where they were at in August of 2026 or 2025. So with that stated, we'd only have to remove or use $2,200 of the $220-some thousand that was allocated if the commission were to consider this COLA. The second piece is that part of your agenda, the pay scale is attached as well, which includes the 2.8% COLA adjustment for every grade and every step. And then by state statute, the commission has to, anytime there's any changes made to any elected official positions, that includes the county commission as well as the treasurer, clerk, register of deeds, the sheriff, and the attorney. The county commission has to approve a resolution to do so. That was also included in the county policy that for treatment, a fair and equal treatment for all employees, no matter where you're at, each employee receives the same percentage of COLA. So that way there's no opens up any potential concerns for Ellis County, not treating one person compared to somebody else. So when the COLA adjustments are made, those are for all employees, all contract employees, which include our medical directors, as well as the fairground manager out at the fairgrounds. And with the approval today that is put forward, that these would go into effect July 5th, which we're currently in that pay period. That's the 14th pay period of 26, which is the start of the second half of the year, which is what the policy also states. So with that, I'll pause for any questions.
And by statute, we list out all elected officials under a resolution to do this, correct?
Correct. Each position, no matter where you're at within Ellis County, is on a pay grade and pay scale, or on the pay scale on a certain grade, on a certain step. Everybody moves every year. That was part of the pay study that was done by Arnold Group back in, I believe, 2023 and 2024. So that way everybody moves at the same time at the beginning of the year, and then the mid-year, the COLA adjustments are made equally as well.
Okay. Any questions?
I'll move to approve the attached budget adjustments, pay scale, and elected officials salary resolution 2026-14 to implement a 2.8% COLA adjustment to Ellis County employees, contract positions, elected officials effective July 5th, which is the start of the 14th pay period, 2026.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Okay, county administrator report? None? Okay, commissioners?
I have none.
None?
I don't have anything this time either.
Good. I don't have a whole lot either. It's just the one thing I did for the, celebration. The Historical Society had asked me to make some German dishes, so I done that. So that was pretty exciting at the library, and thank the library for letting us use that. But other than that, I have nothing.
Okay. Well, at this time, I move the Board of County Commissioners recess to executive session for 15 minutes under the following exception to the Kansas Open Meetings Act pursuant to attorney-client privilege exception. Subject to be discussed during the executive session is review litigation strategy. Open session will resume at 10:15 in the Commission chambers. Those in attendance, in addition to the Board of County Commissioners, are Bill Jeter, Bobby Dryling, and Darren Myers.
Second.
All those in favor?
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. no decisions were made.
Okay, I move the Board of County Commissioners recess to executive session for 15 minutes under the following exception to the Kansas Open Meetings Act pursuant to the preliminary discussion of acquisition of real estate exception. The subject to be discussed during the executive session is potential land purchase review. Open session will resume at 10:30 in the commission chambers. Those in attendance in addition to the Board of County Commissioners are Bill Jeter, Danita Schrader, and Darren Myers.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. decisions were made. Meeting adjourns at 10:32. There's your thing.